So the rabbis, by reinterpreting the word Breshit, bara, which probably means something like in the beginning of God's creating now means by means of the heavenly Torah in the mind of God that precedes creation, God created the heavens and the earth. So they're introducing us to a theory of Torah. They're introducing to us a theory of Torah that this world is emanated from higher worlds, and this text represents the divine reaching down into this world and providing people with a path into the divine mind. Of course, the sense is, another way to put this is, a path into the soul of the universe, which is also a path into the depths of our own souls. So that's why the study of Torah isn't mastering laws and stories and poetry. I'll call it the Hebrew school version. Even here, we hope not to just teach the Hebrew school version to our Hebrew school kids, but at the more sophisticated level, it's a holding place where we can sink ourselves into the mind of God. Now, there's a beautiful teaching in the Midrash Rabbah, the great literature that the rabbis created around the book of Genesis. It's called Midrash Rabbah, Bereshit Rabbah, Genesis Rabbah. But I want to bring in one little phrase from the Jerusalem Talmud because it is so precious and so well known. So in the Talmudic tractate Shkalim in the Jerusalem Talmud, the rabbis, as usual, talk about one thing, and one of them just throws in an amazing little digression. Right? So you're sitting at the table and you're talking about groceries. Someone says, oh, by the way, you know there's a world beyond ours that emanates into this world. You go, yeah, we knew that. Okay, back to the grocery list. Right? So just in the middle of the most mundane kind of discussion, one of the rabbis throws in this. He says, the Torah which God gave us is black fire written on white fire. Now, obviously what they're saying is the physical form of the Torah here is a representation of an infinite Torah where it is not physical, but it is, you might say, in the higher realms, fire written on fire. Black fire written on white fire. It goes on and says, it is fire, surrounded with fire, engraved out of fire, and set in fire. Black fire written on white fire. Fire, surrounded with fire, engraved out of fire, set in fire. I was asked earlier, what tools do I use for meditative consciousness? Well, this is one of them. Try to imagine the origins of Torah is black fire written on white fire. It emanates down into this realm, and it's a book of laws and stories. But if you think that this is a book of laws and stories, as the Zohar says, may your bones be crushed. Okay? Meaning you have so profoundly misunderstood what it is that it's a blasphemous, heretical, and wounding thing to say that this is a book of laws and stories, when actually it's the pathway, the stairway into, you might say, into the mind of God, and ascension into the mind of God, and therefore into the soul of the universe. Now, so once we have the idea that Torah is pre-existent knowledge, this is the symbol of white fire written on black fire. There's a couple more things that I taught. One is that there's a prohibition against teaching this material, because not only do you discover that the Torah is white fire written on black fire, but as I said, when the Torah says that there was a hoshech al pnei tahom, there was deepness upon the abyss, therefore the word darkness has a very negative feel, and the world is tohu vavohu, it's chaos and void before it's created, that people will be teaching about this and implying the following. In the Greek tradition, it's called pre-hylic matter, means the elements out of which the world was created that don't yet have any material substance. They have spiritual substance, but not material substance, and is out of earth, wind, water, fire, whatever the Greek four are. Out of that pre-existent spiritual substance, material substance comes into being. Now the rabbis say, okay, that's the Greek tradition, but we're stuck with this pre-hylic matter, which is chaos and void and darkness. And therefore, anybody who teaches this, right, violates the idea of the mystery, because they're saying to God, you worked with, and their image is, that a palace is built on a dunghill.
Shalom tova uveracha. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom tova uveracha. ay, 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 ay.